This is Judith Lay welcoming you to Manx Radio and to the podcast of this week's edition of At Your Service.
Manx Radio!
Welcome to the start of the second week of Advent, the Church's time of preparation for the great celebration of Christmas that thankfully has nothing to do with finding the perfect gift or planning an amazing party. The key themes of the season of Advent are actually hope, peace, joy and love. But we can often feel that they're in short supply when our own lives are troubled and our world seems so full of challenges. With all this in mind, Bishop Tricia has prepared a series of 4 short talks, one for each week of December. Last week, the first one was all about hope, even in times of darkness. This week, the theme is peace, a different kind of peace.
Christmas time might indeed be, as the song says, the most wonderful time of the year. But it can also bring particular stresses and, for some, challenging memories or decisions. What then does peace mean amid the yet-to-be-done list and the, I don't even want to think about that now, feeling which many of us have? I take such comfort that the first Christmas itself was pretty messy and it was also hard. Frankly, that can be quite a relief.
The talks are available as individual podcasts and each one includes a Bible reading and a reflection by Bishop Tricia. And there's a booklet too, where you can read Bishop Tricia's words. And also in the booklet are some ideas for reflection and suggestions for how we might root the particular Advent values in our daily life. You can find the podcasts via the Manx Radio website. They're right next to the podcast of this programme, and they're called Through Advent with Bishop Tricia. And in the podcast notes, I've put a link to the website, sodorandman.im, where you can read and download the booklet. Now, the next 2 features today are very different, but each in their own way is all about giving. But before we find out more about that, let's have some music.
The King shall come when morning dawns and light triumphant breaks, when beauty gilds the eastern hills and life to joy awakes. Not as of old, a little child to bear and fight and die, but crowned with glory like the sun that lights the morning sky.
Oh, brighter than the rising morn, when he victorious rose and left the lonesome place of death, despite the rage of foes. Oh, brighter than that glorious morn shall this fair morning be, when Christ our King in beauty comes, and we his face shall see. The King shall come when morning dawns, and light and beauty brings. Hail Christ the Lord, thy people pray. Come quickly, King of kings. Come quickly, King of kings.
The King shall come when morning dawns and light and beauty
an Advent hymn from Trevor Thompson, The King Shall Come. Whilst our American friends were celebrating Thanksgiving with family gatherings on the fourth Thursday of November, a different Thanksgiving was taking place at Mountain View Innovation Centre just outside Ramsey. This was the annual charity event at AFD Software, the local company known as the Postcode People, celebrating the giveaway of £1.8 million from company profits to around 80 different charities. And this wasn't a one-off. The AFD Software Charity Night is an annual event. The amount given away varies slightly. It's sometimes exceeded £2 million. But always the good causes which benefit are chosen by AFD staff members, the ones whose work generates the profits. But it's company directors David and Alison Doricott who never lose sight of one of their company objectives: to generate profits and to use them creatively in the relief of suffering, the improvement of society, and furtherance of the Christian gospel. And at the charity night, I had a chance to talk with David and Alison Doricott about this awesome act of generosity.
What's even more awesome, Judith, is that you take that contribution to 80 plus organisations and there's an amazing multiplier happens that takes donations and then does something quite astonishing with it in all sorts of places where people are hurting, where people are needy, people have lost confidence, people just need to be given hope. And I think that the more amazing thing is what God does with the money we put into it through partnership with all these wonderful, amazing people, visionary people, inspiring people, dedicated, committed people, people who take risks and actually deliver astonishing things right across the world, some of it on the Isle of Man, some of it in the adjacent islands, some of it in remote places. To think that this little island, through a little business right in the north corner of this island, actually crosses the world and then someone's life is transformed, that's what's really amazing.
And of course, you've got this special way of going about it, Alison, that you go to your staff and you say, well, you're the people who generate the profits. So tell us the causes that touch your heart. And it might be something that somebody's benefited from, if it's a local charity, or it can be something that a member of staff supports further away around the world. Are you amazed, Alison, with the variety that come before you?
Yes, absolutely. As you say, there are the local charities where people have had help with healthcare or problems with the baby or issues like that. But some of our staff have nominated charities in Africa, helping babies that don't have families or helping to feed children so that they can still go to school and concentrate. It's natural to respond to something that you've experienced yourself, but I love it even more almost when people think beyond just their own circumstance and nominate a charity that's completely outside their own personal experience.
You have this now famous annual charity night, but what you do, it seems to me, having had the privilege to be at a number of these nights, is shine a spotlight on all the goodness that goes on in the world. And as deeply committed Christians, is that really what's at the heart of all of this?
Certainly the entire business, as I've shared with you before, Judith, is birthed in our Christian faith. Why do we do what we do? And how is work and Christianity intertwined is a question that might be placed. But actually, if we look at the very beginning of the Bible, we see that God created this amazing place so that it was very good, created Adam and Eve, man and woman, and so that they were excellent. And then he commissioned them. Before it all went wrong, he commissioned them and he said, take care of this planet. It's yours to exploit, but look after it. So work, as we know it, was given to Adam when it was all perfect, and then we messed up, as mankind messed up. Work became difficult, but it's still the way by which God provides for society. And as the world of work, we write computer software and manage big databases, and people who create goods by what they do in their work is the way that we both provide tables and chairs from which to sit and eat, but also the money which puts food on those tables or to share in a wider field. And Thanksgiving was birthed in the 1600s in America when the Pilgrims actually celebrated the harvest with a local people whose name I can't pronounce, who shared their food with them. And so it's always about sharing and thanking for food on our table. if we just take food as an icon of all the things we need in order to maintain our lives. But it is in the work. If people didn't plant crops, we wouldn't have food on our tables. If people didn't look after patients in hospitals, we wouldn't have those cares. And the wealth that we create as business people is actually the oil that enables society to work. And there's a partnership in society that needs to be recognised and honoured. Now, we all can hear those stories of people calling business leaders fat cats, and that there's greed, and we know that things go wrong. But if we go back to that beginning of the Bible, when sharing and caring and doing and making were part of what was built into our DNA by God, the guy who designed DNA, then we begin to redeem the world of work, and it becomes an exciting place where we're not necessarily looking about personal gain, although personally enjoying the fruit of our hands is not wrong. It's some part of God's joy. And there's a unique and special mystery of how God fulfills his desire to provide for people through people. Now, he could dish it out, couldn't he? He's quite powerful enough. He could send down manna. In emergency, he did that for a while. But actually, he doesn't normally choose to do that. He gives you and me the joy of turning what he's made us into something that creates something really special for the world. If we let it go, he can do even more with it.
And those are the magic words, if we let it go. One of the things that is so lovely about the charity night is that there is so much joy. And you both, David and Alison, you are both absolutely radiant. And the thing that touches me is this idea of you put the money where the people know how to use it best. And isn't it amazing, Alison, that a comparatively small amount of money can touch so many lives?
It is. It's amazing because we don't have the expertise here at AFD to know what the best need is in the middle of Africa or in the middle of a village in Papua New Guinea or even down the road at hospice. We don't know what needs to be bought, what needs to be spent in order to provide for the needs. But, you know, we can team with people who are experts in their field, who are passionate about what they're doing and know just exactly how to get the best value out of the little bit that we've given. It's a bit like the story of the boy with the loaves and fishes. You know, he provided that and God multiplied it. And I feel as though we're a bit in that story as well. We provide a little bit of funding and the people who know what they're doing and where to do it take it and do something amazing with it. And we're just part of that journey. But, you know, we need to give thanks to these people in charities that are using their skills, making sacrifices and using their judgment to just deliver where the need is greatest.
AFD Software Directors David and Alison Doricott talking there about this year's charity giveaway of £1.8 million of company profits. And over the coming weeks, I'll be sharing with you conversations I had with representatives of just some of the 80 charities who benefited, getting some insights into their work and the difference that these donations will make. A few years ago, Oliver Cheshire from Douglas City Centre Management approached Pioneer Minister Reverend Alex Brown with a request to stage an outdoor nativity, something to add to the late-night shopping experience in Douglas as Christmas approaches. And so Christmas Live was born, with a great mix of church and non-church people joining together to tell the Christmas story through drama, dance and music, and a few live animals too. Well, Christmas Live is happening again this Thursday on the North Quay near St Matthew's Church here in Douglas. But it's going to be very different. Only the story remains the same. This year you will be guided in groups, each group led by an angel, through 4 different scenes. And so the groups don't get too big, they will leave angel headquarters at 15-minute intervals. The website christmaslive.im is where you can find all the information, and new for this year, christmaslive.im is also where you can find a story podcast. And Chapter 1 really is the perfect way to set the scene.
The one who changed everything, everywhere, for all of time. A Christmas Live story, written by Alexander Brown. Chapter 1. The Angel Headquarters. It was a dark, rainy evening in the seaside port of Douglas. People were busy in the narrow shopping street, rushing from shop to shop so they could keep dry. Children everywhere were being dragged about by frustrated-looking adults with bags in their hands and damp feet. The Christmas lights that were strung up between the shops were dripping with the cold drizzle, and 7-year-old Rory had had quite enough of it all. His mum looked down at his damp face through his drenched blonde hair and saw that his Christmas grin had vanished, replaced with a scowl that seemed to say, "This far and no further." Thankfully, Mum was one of those mums who could read a storm warning on a face, and she flashed him a cheeky grin and a wink. "Well, I think it's time for a hot drink of something hot and delicious," she said to him, crouching down and moving the rain-glued hair out of his face. "And I think I know just the place." And she did. Just 10 minutes ago, as they passed the Christmas market on the North Quay, she had spotted a little sign outside St Matthew's Church which read, "Free hot drinks and Christmas nibbles," and she logged it in her mind in case of just such an emergency. Sometimes, emergency nibbles were the only correct solution. She grabbed hold of Rory's hand, and as he rolled his eyes, thinking, "So we're not going home then," they hurried off to the church on the corner, where all the boats were bobbing about in the wind and the rain. In no time at all, they were there at the door. Rory looked at the welcoming glass door with the lights inside and the sound of happy, laughing people. The church had always seemed to him to be big and cold-looking, but today anywhere would be warmer than where he was right now, and he began to think that just perhaps he shouldn't judge the inside of the building before he'd been inside. So they stepped into the door. What they found on the other side was not what either Rory or Mum were expecting at all. Mum was the first one to stop. She stopped dead in her tracks, and Rory bumped into her wet coat. To be honest, it annoyed him a little, and he said, "Oh, Mum, now I'm even more wet." "But Rory," she said, turning to look at him and moving aside, "look." As she moved out of the way, it was Rory's turn to stand still in complete amazement. Right there, in front of them both, was a group of what looked like 12 actual real angels, white robes and halos around their heads and everything. They were sitting around on the wooden pew benches, or they were standing up and leaning against stone pillars, or they were by the table with all the nibbles and drinks, and grabbing a snack and a take-out warm drink. Rory shot a glance at Mum. She shot one right back at him. Before they could say anything, what looked like the chief angel walked over and stuck his hand out to Rory, with a massive grin all over his face. It was weird, because the angel was tall and glowy and, well, angelic. But at the same time, it all felt safe and good. "I'm the chief angel," said the chief angel, "and welcome to Angel Headquarters. You must be Rory." Well, yes I am," said Rory, looking up at Mum and checking that it was okay to talk to this random stranger who was also an angelic being. She nodded and smiled, still looking slightly shocked, but also clearly calm about the whole thing. "Well, it's so good to see you," said the chief angel. "Actually, we've been waiting for you. Look, your name's over there on the board with the 6:45 departure time." "What?" Rory looked over to where there was an angel sitting by himself holding a blackboard on a stick which said 6:45 departure, Rory +1. "And you must be the person Rory is allowed to bring with him," said the chief angel to Mum. "Yes, my name's Jen," said Mum, looking more than a little starstruck at being able to talk to a real angel for her first time. Well, for the first time she knew of. Sometimes they disguise themselves as ordinary people. "Well, it's almost time for your trip," said the chief angel. "So maybe you should get yourselves your drinks and nibbles afterward, or you will miss out." "Trip where?" asked Rory. Why, to see the baby, of course, the angel replied. Now, can I just double check? Are either of you allergic to horses, donkeys, cows, sheep or camels? Rory and Mum looked at each other and laughed. The question seemed absolutely crazy. In fact, this whole thing seemed absolutely crazy. Mum shook her head and managed to say through her giggles, No, Rory and I have mild asthma, and Rory has ADHD that he was handed through his dad's family line, as well as a slight squint and a lazy left eye when he's tired, and... Rory burst into the conversation quickly. Mum had a tendency to give over way too much information when she was nervous or giggly, or when she'd come back from parties a little wobbly on her legs, so he cut off the chatter with, it's all good, thanks. Before either of them knew what had happened, the chief angel slapped them on the back, and instantly they were standing right next to the angel with the blackboard sign on the stick. Neither of them could remember walking to him, or putting all their presents and bags down on the luggage shelf in the corner, or how the chief angel managed to somehow get back by the snacks. But before they could think about things anymore, the angel they were with stood up and greeted them. Well, this is exciting, he said. So you are Rory. I've waited so long to meet you. Word among the other angels is that this is a very important year for you. And this is the time that we need to make sure that you know the story of Christmas. So I'm here to guide you through it. Rory looked puzzled. You've waited to meet me? Oh yes, said the angel, bending ever so slightly down and smiling like he knew a giant secret that was going to change Rory's life. This is the year that you need to know all about the miracle baby who has changed everything, everywhere, for all of time. Are you ready? Rory looked at Mum with a slightly nervous look. Mum grabbed his hand confidently, stood herself up straight like a soldier, and announced loudly and proud, Rory and his guest are ready for whatever you can throw at us. Oh, I was hoping you'd see that, said the angel, and he spun round in a circle for joy and clapped his hands super loudly. At the sound, everything changed around them. In the time it takes to blink your eyes, they weren't standing in St. Matthew's Church, Angel headquarters, anymore. Now they were on a street at night time, with flat-roofed homes, narrow winding passages like an old fishing town. And there was what looked like a blindingly bright star hovering just above one of the houses. Where on earth were they now? And what was going on?
Angel headquarters is better known as St Matthew's Church Hall on the North Quay in Douglas, and is the starting point for this year's Christmas Live. It's all completely free, but you do need to choose the time slot that you would like and then get your free tickets. Tickets are being snapped up. The early slots are all fully booked, but there are still places left in groups leaving at 15-minute intervals between 7:15 and 8 o'clock on Thursday evening. So don't delay if you want to be part of this very special preparation for Christmas. And the Story podcast is also available as a beautifully illustrated book, which will be given away completely free on Thursday night. So go to the website christmaslive.im. You'll find it all explained very fully there, and you can choose your time slot and get your free tickets with just a couple of clicks. And now let's get straight into another packed notice board, starting with news for today, Sunday the 7th. Selby Methodist Church at the Crossroads in the village invite you to join them this afternoon at 4 o'clock when they'll be showing a family-friendly film and serving light refreshments until it's time to go outside and watch the Young Farmers Tractor Parade. Everyone's welcome, but all children must be accompanied by an adult, please. A Christingle family service will be held at the Cool Methodist Chapel on Cool Road at the top of the Isle of Man Business Park this afternoon at 5 o'clock. This is for the Children's Society, and there's a warm welcome to this very popular service. Tonight, the parish church in St Mark's have an Advent service when they'll be joined by their friends from Ballagary Chapel. That's tonight at 6:30, and there'll be refreshments after the service. Another good place to watch the Young Farmers Tractor Parade is Onchan Methodist Church, and tonight you're invited to join them for an Advent prayer and praise starting at 6:30. And following the service, you're welcome to stay behind to watch the Young Farmers Tractor Parade as it passes by Onchan Methodist Church. There's a cafe church this evening in Ballabeg. Come along to the chapel at 6:30 to make Christmas tree decorations, sing some carols and share some refreshments. And Christmas decorations? They're Christmas decorations with Christian symbols on them. Also this evening at 6:30, the Mariners Choir will be in Ballakilferrick Chapel for a service led by Mr Kevin Mort, with, as usual, supper and community hymn singing afterwards. And the Tallest Consort have their very popular Christmas concerts tonight and tomorrow night. Tonight, the Tallest Consort will be in the Roman Catholic Church in Ramsey. That's the one on Queen's Promenade by the Ramsey Lifeboat Station. And then tomorrow, Monday, December the 8th, they'll repeat the same concert in St Mary's, the Co-Cathedral in Hill Street here in Douglas. Both concerts are free and both will start at 7:30. This concert of choral music celebrates Christmas from the 16th century to the present day. Tomorrow, Monday the 8th, it's carols by candlelight at Christ Church at the Dune on the Ramsey to Laxey Coast Road, and that starts at 6:30. On to Tuesday the 9th, and you're invited to a Christmas cracker of light-hearted music, carols, songs, poems and readings, all about Christmas, and there'll be seasonal refreshments too. It's in St John's Church. It starts at 7:30 on Tuesday evening. Admission is free, and there'll be a retiring collection in aid of Motor Neurone Disease Association Isle of Man. I'm going to be there, and it would be lovely to see you there too. On Wednesday the 10th at 7 o'clock, there's a community carol service with Onchan Silver Band, and that's in Onchan Methodist Church. And on Thursday the 11th, it's the RNLI carol service in St Paul's Church in Ramsey, and that's starting at 7 o'clock on Thursday evening. On Friday the 12th, from noon until 1:15, lunch will be served in Port St Mary Methodist Church. Call in for homemade soup and a roll, followed by a pudding and a hot drink. It's £8 per person and no booking is required. In Christchurch in Laxey, there's a Christmas concert at 7 o'clock on Friday the 12th, featuring Laxey Community Choir, the Laxey Handbell Ringers, soloists and surprise guests. Entry is free, but donations to church funds would be most welcome, and after the concert there'll be mulled wine and mince pies. Also on Friday the 12th, there's a family fun night quiz in Union Mills Methodist Chapel, starting at 6:30 and suitable for all ages. And on Saturday the 13th, there's a Christmas coffee morning at Ballakilferrick, open from 11:15 till 12:30, and Father Christmas will be calling into Ballakilferrick at 11:45. And that's all that we have time for now, but I do have lots more notice board news to share with you when I come back tonight at 9 o'clock with Sundown. And I'd love you to come and join me in our virtual lounge for a great selection of easy listening music, plus your requests and dedications. And so, till whenever we meet again, this is Judith saying thank you for listening and wishing you and those you love the joy and the comfort of this Advent season, and a very good morning.
The nation stays.